Big move in Bitcoin then, in contrast to all the notes I wrote pre-show, which were telling me that this was going to put Bitcoin under pressure.
The narrative that perhaps this launch of these political meme coins will sap flows from Bitcoin is showing us that it's really not the case this morning. If anything, it's just accelerated the momentum and the excitement around cryptocurrency under another Trump administration.
Hi, Gibble. What is all this FOMO about? Should I buy Bitcoin now?
Are you smoking your socks? You should rather watch my show. You should rather watch my show.
Right, legends. Let me see if everything's coming through. Let me just do this. Welcome to another live stream. What is happening here with the price of Bitcoin? Currently getting a little bit of dumpiness here to the downside. And for those of you that watched my live stream on Friday and are still in that short position, okay, potentially there is still momentum here on the downside. But Friday, during my live stream, that was the short. That was major resistance. That is where you are supposed to be looking for shorts, because there was just so much resistance lying in this area and not much above. And I knew if price was successfully going to break out here, it was going to accelerate to the upside. And this was the moment to short. During my live stream on Friday, right, I just want to see if the sound is going to come through here. This is what we spoke about. Can you guys remember? This has to be it. Because if price goes a little bit higher, it might continue to the upside. Because when I take a fib here from the high to the low, okay, you have now rejected by the 786. And this is the level where you have to reject. Okay, for the bears, you have to reject here. Because if you tap the 0.88, you increase the probabilities of taking the high and moving higher. So this is the zone. This is where you short with good risk management. No 100x your entire position. No, you take 1% of your portfolio and you can apply leverage to that position. Okay, please guys, I don't want... Right, legends, that is what we spoke about. I'm not sure if the sound came through, right? But this was the zone that we spoke about on Friday as price was hitting the 786 level over here. Right, can like to have been the zone that we needed to short, right? That was the short that I spoke about. And if I go back here onto the 15-minute time frame or even the 5-minute time frame, okay, I actually got stopped out from that short position because I was in the live stream and I closed my exchange and I didn't have time to go and do two-factor authenticate my whole exchange to get into the short. But this is the zone where you needed to short, and then we got nice massive momentum here to the downside. And I did say please take profits on the way down, and that's what we do as day traders. If you still have some of that position open, there is still chance for lower levels. So perhaps you have taken profits and you've left some of that position open for lower levels. Woo, what an epic short here to the downside, legends. For those of you that did take the short, congratulations. But what I also want to go through here in the live stream, and I'll go through the comments in a section. Let me put on some background music. There we go. Right, legends. Yes, let me say hi to the beautiful community, and then we can get the party on the road. Crypto by Matt, or Matt. I just call Matt, right? I want to share with you a video that he shared because I don't, well, let me rephrase it. I play to my strengths. My strengths is technical analysis. The technical analysis told me on Friday that we are most likely going to get a rejection here like I've just highlighted, purely from a technical analysis perspective. The fundamentals then gave us, or the news gave us the reason as to why we dumped. Okay, so this is why I like technicals, because often the technicals will tell you that a dump is incoming before the news comes out. And we were looking for a short in this zone. And as we were falling here to the downside, people in the live stream started highlighting, Dewald, Bybit got hacked. Dewald, Bybit got hacked. So what I want to do now is, Matt, if you are still here in the live stream, let's play to our strengths, because I know that Matt has done a deep dive into what exactly happened to Bybit and what is the stance at the moment. And right, let me play you a little snippet here from Matt. And if you don't know Matt, I do have the link for Matt's YouTube description or YouTube channel down in the video description. But Matt, let's hear you out over here.
Into the video. So, Bybit got hacked by the 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽𝗍 group late last night for $1.4 billion worth of Ethereum getting taken out of their cold wallet. Now, the other thing to consider here is this is an infamous North Korean hacking group. And if you didn't know, this group is connected to several hacks in the crypto space, not just the Bybit hack, but we also saw them hacking 𝗞𝗏𝗍 and 𝗤𝗍𝑥 as well. And I believe they were also connected to the Sony hack back in 2014. Now, this hack on Bybit is the biggest ever hack we've ever seen in the history of crypto, $1.4 billion. And just for context, this hacker group now technically owns 0.5% of all of the Ethereum supply. That means that they now possess more than Fidelity, more than Vitalik, and even more than the Ethereum Foundation itself, as we can see here down below. Now, this was a crazy turn of events, but Bybit actually handled it quite well. I believe they have over $20 billion in their treasury, and so a $1.5 billion hack, while it is a lot, it's nowhere near enough to actually impact how the business currently operates. Now, of course, when this news came out, everyone tried to withdraw their funds from Bybit. I personally think that Bybit is a very reputable exchange. I currently use Weeks and Bybit. Again, if you want to sign up to Weeks, it's the first link in my description, but Bybit has been pretty reliable for me over the years, and their CEO, Ben, came out and addressed all of the issues and concerns in a very calm and professional manner. He even went on his own live stream to address all of the questions and concerns, and people were able to ask questions, which he addressed very well. And here's an update after the hack from Ben himself. 12 hours from the worst hack in history, all withdrawals have been processed. Our withdrawal system is now fully back to normal pace. You can withdraw any amount and experience no delays. Thanks for your patience, and we are sorry that this happened. Bybit will come out with an incident report as well as a security measurement in the next few days. We actually saw several other exchanges loan out Ethereum to Bybit to help them in this matter, and it's showing a lot of confidence in Bybit as an exchange. As I mentioned, they have over $20 billion in their reserves. So while this is definitely a devastating loss for Bybit, it doesn't actually impact the company's ability to serve its customers.
No sound. There we go. Sorry, legends. Just talking here to myself. Thank you so much. Thanks for highlighting that. Can't hear you. Now you should be able to hear me crystal clear, right? If you guys don't know Matt, let me just repeat myself. Go and give him a follow, right? From a fundamental perspective, and if you want a summarized version of all your news, you need to go and give Matt a follow, because I'm not a fundamentalist. I'm a technical chartist. Okay, call me a technical chartist. And this was the zone that I highlighted the short in my Friday update. And I said, guys, the technicals are showing me this is where you short. Okay, if you're going to tap that 0.88, we're going higher, right? And then we fell here to the downside. This was the zone. And then as we were falling here to the downside, people started highlighting in my stream, Dewald, you know, you got Bybit just got hacked with $1.5 billion, right? And I was just like, well, we needed bad news for the dump, right? The technicals told me that this is weakness, and then the fundamentals and the news came out in terms of confirming the momentum here to the downside, right? The reason for the dump. There must always be a reason, but often the technicals show you the short opportunity, and then the news comes out afterwards. So this was the short, right, legends? Let's do a little bit of technical analysis and now see, well, what are the probabilities looking like right now? Can we still now expect upwards momentum as per the thumbnail after the Bybit hack? Okay, this was a nice little flash crash here to the downside. Are we going to move up, or is there still now a higher probability of moving down? Right, legends? So without further ado, smash up that like button. Let's get the party here on the road. Sunday live stream here from me. Yes, Sunday. I thought it was important. I see there's a lot of fear in the market at the moment. And as Matt has just highlighted here on his YouTube update, that Bybit, okay, is still one of my trusted exchanges. None of my money has disappeared. I'm still using Bybit for most of my large amounts of cash. And right, they do have a 20 billion reserve fund. So that 1.5 billion hack that they've experienced was protected by the $20 billion user protection fund that they had in place. Because, I mean, you know, I think the exchanges have just learned over the years that, you know, there needs to be a protection fund in place for these things that could potentially play out in the future. And I also appreciate about the fact that Bybit came to the party and released the updates to the community so soon, right? So they are back to normal. You can go and withdraw your funds, no issue, right? I still have my money there in Bybit. I still use them to do my trading. And right, it is what it is, right? And now, you know, let's move on. Let's look at the technical analysis. Okay, cool, legends. Now, let me go through some comments. Missed all of your words after Matt. 𝗬𝗫cie, yes, I did repeat myself, so you should have caught up over there. Sorry, my mic was muted because I didn't want an echo in the background with Matt picking up in the background. Hi, Dewald, where do you think Chainlink can go? Okay, what will you do if all your strategies stop working? Plan B? What do you mean if all my strategies stop working, right? Because I can tell you now, all of my strategies I practice with good risk management. Okay, and if I have good risk management in place, that is how you apply a trading strategy. And I do believe what gives me my edge as a technical trader is that I don't use one technical strategy to do my trading. I have multiple trading strategies, and depending on what the market offers me, I will apply a different trading strategy to what I see here on the charts. Okay, it's always good to keep ahead of the game. Remember, at the end of the day, we're all trading against each other, right? And if one trading strategy starts stopping you out multiple times, maybe you must jump to a different trading strategy. Right, cool, legends. But I exercise every single trading strategy with good risk management, like the short that we highlight, well, that I highlighted over here. Okay, this short that I highlighted over here on Friday played out beautifully to perfection. And the question now is, well, where to from now, right? That is now the question. The one thing that I do see here, legends, let's talk bearish, okay? Let's use this opportunity to talk a little bit bearish and see, okay? Yes, 1% of traded only, right? That rhymes, perfect, thank you. ETH looks insanely strong. Yes, I see some of the altcoins, even with Bitcoin falling here to the downside, are still showing strength. ETH looks like, ooh, dare I even use these words? Dare I? Because ETH BTC, like I said, legends, tonight at 12 o'clock Central European time, if we have a weekly candle close back inside of this parallel channel, that is going to look very bullish for ETH in the coming weeks and months. Okay? It has tapped critical, very strong high time frame macro support here at the moment, and now it's attempting to get acceptance back inside of this parallel channel that it's lost since 2022, a 2 year, almost 2 year price action here to the downside, a slow grind here to the downside, and now it looks like finally there is a glimmer of hope for Ethereum, where everyone has lost faith in ETH. Okay, now with the Bybit hack as well, where they stole the ETH. And it's actually looking pretty strong. I mean, if ETH can successfully, okay, break through this resistance, and it looks like it wants to, if it can successfully break out and do an RS flip over here, okay, it's potentially going to look good for ETH in the coming weeks, right? It needs to flip this resistance into support, and it could potentially find upwards momentum. So very curious to see what ETH is going to do here from a larger time frame perspective. And you can see that this resistance box is quite significant resistance. Look at that resistance. Okay, resistance and support. You broke out, support, you broke down, resistance, and now ETH is now at this critical zone at the moment. And I think if you look at the ETH BTC chart, if we can close that weekly candle back inside the parallel channel, that is a big tick for Ethereum in the medium to long term. Right, big tick for ETH if it can continue this weekly candle here to the upside, and then by tonight 12 o'clock, when this weekly candle closes, if it can close back inside the parallel channel, that is going to look absolutely insane. Right, legends, I was also looking at 𝗖𝗿𝗆, right, still broken the trend, still finding upwards momentum. I was looking at my AR trade. Yes, it's struggling here with this resistance at the moment, but it is still holding strong. Okay, so let's get back here onto the technical analysis of Bitcoin. Dewald goes over about a dozen strategies, not one. Yes, exactly, right? I really, if you think technical analysis doesn't work, right, go somewhere else. Please unsubscribe from the channel and take your little feet and go follow a moon boy that promise you to get 100x on your position, because that is not what this channel is about. And I feel really strongly about this point. I really don't care if you want to unsubscribe and go somewhere else, because here I teach technical analysis with great risk management. Without me knowing about the Bybit hack, right? I called this short on Friday to perfection, because it was at a technical level for a rejection. And if we tapped at 0.88, I mean, it was such a beautiful price action that played out over here. I'm not sure if all of you were here on Friday during the live stream, but we were watching this like a hawk, okay? I had my FIB here from the high to the low, right? And as price was over here, I said, legends, this is where I would short. It's now. You need to short. If there's any chance for a breakdown to the downside, this is where you need to short. And you don't want the 0.88 to be tapped. And we ever so slightly front run the 0.88. And I told everyone, this is where you short. This is where you put your stop loss. And I went through the profit taking areas to the downside. And now we are where we are. And then further down the line, during the live stream, I saw people saying, Dewald, did you see the Bybit hack? The Bybit hack. And, I just said, well, there's the reason we got the rejection. Okay, but I was anticipating the reason based on technical analysis. Right, I'm not sure. You guys can let me know in the comments. Are any of you still in that short? Are any of you still in the short? Have you left some of that position open for lower levels? What an epic short here to the downside. I also said, legends, it reminded me so much of what happened over here when I shorted this little bad boy here to the downside. This one. Exactly the same. You take your FIB from the high to the low. Okay. This is where I shorted. This entire momentum here to the downside. Look at this, exactly the same. You front run the 0.88 by a hair. This is where I shorted with my stop above the high. I took profits, 50 or 60% profits in this zone when I saw the consolidation. And then when I saw that week, and you tap the 0.88 when you take a FIB from the low to the high. Here we tap the 0.88. I put my profit taking limit order here by the 786. And it got hit later that night. Right, so 60% profits, 40% profits, closed the position, and then we started moving back to the upside. I mean, technical analysis, okay? If you don't think technical analysis works, then why are you even here, right? Why are you, I don't understand why you're here, right? Because the game is to learn technical analysis and enter those trades with good risk management and also knowing where to take profits. If you can enter a trade with good risk management and you know why you've entered the trade and you know where to take profits, you will be a successful day trader. Okay. It's as simple as that, right? It can like to be as simple as that. Right, legends. Now, let's get back here onto the 15-minute time frame. Ooh, what a fall here to the downside. I must say, legends, this fall, okay? Let's talk about the couple of concerns that I have over here, where I potentially think that we can continue momentum here to the downside. Remember, I spoke about timing. Okay, Dewald, wish you a great Sunday. What will happen? Yes, we're going through that now. Hi, Dewald and legends. Wouldn't it be better to keep 1.4 billion in different wallets? Yes, I mean, if you have 1.4 billion dollars as a day trader, right, I do recommend that you spread your risk. And that's why I always say, legends, you know, the exchanges need to do what they need to do, you know, but I always say that I do not have all of my money in Bybit. I do not have all of my money in 𝗞𝗆cie. nor do I have all of my money in Bluffin or in Weeks. And this is why I'm offering you guys many exchanges, okay? Because I have my capital spread out. If one of them goes bust, right, I have backup and I can trade that money back. And then also I use leverage. Okay, listen carefully. I use leverage as a risk management tool. People think leverage is dangerous. I use leverage as a risk management tool. And you might be asking yourself, how? Right? Because it's as simple as if I have a $500,000 account, okay? I need to draw those numbers. $500,000 account, okay? But I do not want to put all of my money into an exchange because what happened to FTX? The exchange might go bust and then there's no more $500,000. What I can do is I can say, okay, I'm only going to transfer 10% of my $500,000 into Bybit or whatever exchange you use to do your daily trading. Okay, so you're going to put $50,000, 50K into your favorite exchange. Then I use 10x leverage to trade with my entire position. But this I keep safe. This I still keep in my bank account or in my investment portfolio or wherever the case might be, so that if the exchange goes bust and I lose my 50K, I still have $450,000 to fall back onto. But I can still trade with $50,000 at 10x leverage so that I trade with my entire position. So you can use leverage as a risk management tool instead of putting all of your money into the exchange and then, playing at 1x leverage or spot buys or whatever the case might be. So leverage can be used as a risk management tool as well. Very powerful, right? Right, legends, we are currently getting the bounce. And the one thing I want to just highlight over here is that because, let's look at this from a timing perspective. This is the start. Okay, can everyone see that? This is the start of the impulse, and this is the end of the impulse, right? I'm looking at this structure as the impulse, and this is now the start of the corrective structure. If this is the impulse, and this is now the corrective structure over here, it is very, very rare to make a low before the 0.382 and just think this was it, and now we're just moving up from here. It's very rare. You at least want the low or the end of the corrective structure to finish after the 0.382 and ideally here by the 1-to-1 extension. So on Monday, right, this 1-to-1 extension is tomorrow, 10:30 Central, well, 9:30 Central European time. Okay. Which makes me believe, okay, which brings me to the first scenario over here, legends, is that it will be very unlikely for price to, well, for this to be the low, and we're just going to create impulses back to the upside because of how short the impulse is to the downside. It needs more time. Time is against the correction at the moment, right? So the one scenario that I am looking at the moment is to say that, well, because this low was made so short after the impulse and it doesn't balance from a timing perspective, what if this is an A wave here to the downside? Because remember, a A wave, okay, you have an impulse to the upside, you create that first A, B, C to the downside. So this could all be part of a corrective structure to the downside that could even come and claim the low. And for this corrective structure to claim the low is at the moment a little bit high because of how deep this low was made. Okay, I was hoping for a bounce in this zone as per my update on Friday. Okay, and this was also the profit taking area, right below these lows, and we did get a consolidation, but then we continued the momentum to the downside. And I told everyone I really like that pivot over there, and we actually got the SFP from these two double bottoms over here. That's where we got the SFP from. What is also interesting for me, okay, is let's zoom into the structure ever so much, okay, because I'm that type of person that always asks myself, why did we bounce there? Why? I want to know exactly why we bounced there. Yes, from a price action perspective, you can see that it's support. Okay, that's a reason we bounced inside of support, okay, from a price action perspective. But then what was interesting from a Fibonacci retracement perspective, when I take a Fib from the high to the low to the high, boy, oh boy, look at that. 1.618 to perfection, right, is where we got the SFP and the bounce here back to the upside. Okay, so what I'm trying to highlight over here, legends, is that, okay, now I have my reason, because I'm just that type of person. I want to know exactly why we bounced there. Because if I get that price action again in the future, I know how to measure it and I know how to look for that long. Perfect, right. I don't typically trade on weekends. I like to take a break on weekends, which I did yesterday. It was a lovely break, out with a family break. And now what I'm speculating on is, legends, let's talk bearish, okay, because there is a bullish case scenario as well. But let's, for the argument now, say, what if this is an A? We are still forming a B wave that can go a little bit higher, and then we're going to come down for an aggressive C wave in a 3-wave corrective structure. Okay, so this is basically your A. We are not done with B just as yet, or we could be done with B right over there, okay? But B can still go a little bit higher. The problem with the B wave, this is now the problem. This B can be there, or we could still form a 3-wave structure, 1, 2, 3-wave structure in a B wave, because B waves loves to be 3-wave structures. Lightning bolts. B waves are always 3-wave structures. Okay, so there's a chance if we do find support where we are at the moment, and where we are at the moment is actually quite interesting, because when you zoom into this price action and you take a Fib from the low to the high, we bounced at the 0.618 to perfection. This is currently where we're finding the consolidation, at the 0.618 swing failure pattern from the pivot. Okay, so this could potentially now be forming a 1, 2, 3-wave structure here to the upside. And then we could potentially tank. Okay, so let's talk bearish now. I'm not saying that this is going to happen. I'm saying that this is a probability that could play out. And at the moment, it does carry a high probability, or a high-ish probability. Okay, because of how shallow this, not shallow, but short in time, this low was. Because if this impulse is correcting itself, it would be very, very strange for this to be the end of the corrector structure and we're just moving up from here. But now I want to talk about the B wave, because I've often spoken about the B wave here in my live stream, and this B wave is a nasty little monster. It is a very difficult wave to trade. B waves are known for being the most difficult wave to trade from an Elliott wave perspective, because they have so many targets. This could be the end of the B, because now I want to go and work out my B wave targets. The first way to work out the B wave target is you take a Fib from the high to the low. Okay, now we want to go and see, well, where can this B wave end? A common target, or there's lots of common targets, is the 382, which we have tapped for a B wave. A B wave can go to the 50%. It can go to the 0.618. It can go to the 786. It can go to the 0.88. And then I can also go and take a trend-based Fib from the high to the low, drag it across, reverse it. Okay, I'm showing you guys now why these B waves are so difficult to trade, because it can also create a flat. Because I can now imagine if price had to find support here and it just rock and rolls here to the upside and it takes the high, everyone's going to say Dewald was wrong. There we go, back into the bull market territory, and then it falls, because that's a B flat. The B wave is allowed to take the high in a flat, but it has to reject inside of maximum target, this zone over here. That's your maximum target for a B flat. Right. If it taps the 0.618, then it's something else. Okay. But it's very rare for a B flat to tap the 1.618. 1.382 is the maximum target. $101,000, 221.20. So it's not an easy wave to trade, legends, if we are indeed inside of a B wave. Okay, the best way to trade these B waves is with good risk management, because it's most likely already in, or the B wave is going to find support over here and come here to the upside. The highest area of resistance that I do like is, let's go and switch on some daily levels, weekly levels. Okay, so this is where I build up some confluence. If the B wave is going to continue here to the upside, right, we do have a fresh daily level at $98,252. So I want to go onto the daily time frame and just make sure that I have these levels correctly marked out. Okay, you can see that we have a fresh daily level, like I've highlighted over here. I open and a close at the same level, and it has not been tapped by price action. And that is the only daily level that we had. Okay, I just want to see this daily level. Has this daily level been tapped? Let's clone this daily level. Just want to make sure that that daily level, switch on my magnet. Okay, this is now where I'm looking for confluence. Okay, there's a daily level there, but I want to see if it's been tapped. So let me just take the brushes here out the way. Let's zoom in. Yep, that daily level has been tapped. Oh man, right? So we were wondering about why did we get the bounce here to the downside. It was the 1.618, and it was also a daily level that got tapped to the dollar, right? It ever so slightly pierced that level. Can you guys see over there? Ever so slightly pierced that level. Look at that. Right, and we got the bounce from the daily level. So whoever is here in the live stream saying that technical analysis don't work, well. What can I say? What can I say? But now, because we've tapped this daily level, it's no longer valid. It served its purpose. This is now where we got the bounce at the moment, right? So let's go back here onto the daily time frame. Oof. I mean, that is where we got the bounce at that daily level. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Right, legends. Now, the level here to the upside is that we have, okay, the 786 together with the daily level. So if this B wave is going to make a lower high, this is the zone I think it's going to happen, because that's the only real resistance that we have to the upside. You also have these beautiful wicks, okay, from an SFP perspective. So I'm building up a trading plan. This is what I'm doing over here. I'm looking for confluence, and if price continues to move here to the upside and we don't just fall from where we are right now, if we do move up in a three-wave structure to go and complete a B wave because of this impulse to the downside, and also from a timing perspective, how short this low is from a timing perspective, then this is the zone where I'm looking for a short. Okay. Obviously, because the B wave has so many targets, if it does find upwards momentum, I will look at the high for potential SFP or a rejection in this zone. And strangely enough, a little bit higher, if price does not successfully reject and it continues to move here to the upside, the maximum target for a B flat to the upside aligns with a daily level at $101,000, 293. So I will also be looking for rejection in this zone. So short opportunity. The two highest probable shorting opportunities that I see. And then obviously if we get a swing failure from the high, because I mean the B wave can also literally just claim the high and fall down. Right. So it's just a very difficult wave to trade, legends, because it has so many levels. And all you can do is build up confluence and say, okay, if the B wave is going to continue and it smashes through resistance, it's going to look bullish. The bulls are going to step in only to get another rejection, and we claim, okay, we fall down and break the support to the downside once again. Unfortunately, legends, I need, okay, the B wave to be finished in order to calculate where the C wave can go. The only what did I do over here? right? I think that's my YouTube description. Let me just undo that. Right, there we go. The only information that I have currently in front of me is this little pivot over here. That's the only information that I have at the moment based on this structure. That is the highest point. So based on that point over here, I can go and calculate where the C wave could potentially end and the corrective structure can potentially end. But you know, we just need to be aware, what if it moves up first and then it goes down? Then I have to change my analysis based on the price action. But for now, let's entertain the scenario. So let's take all the noise here out the way and take a trend-based fib from the high to the low to the high. And then I reverse it. Okay. So now I need to zoom out, okay, because now you guys can see if I switch on. Okay, I actually have this level marked out already. You can see that I have the 1.618 marked out here already. If this is part of a corrective structure that's not going to claim that high and it's going to continue to fall here to the downside, the 1-to-1 extension, the 1.236 and the 1.618 is the maximum target if we are still going to continue here to the downside. This 1.618 also aligns roundabout with that $88,000 level that I've been talking about for so long. So if this is forming a much deeper corrective structure here to the downside, right, the maximum target that you would like to see over here is at $89,554, but it is very normal for price to dip below and get acceptance back above, right? So I will be looking for a long over here. I will be looking for a long at the 1.236 and the 1-to-1 extension. These three lines are very common C wave targets. Okay. Oof. This 1.236 as an SFP from the low. So I will be watching the price here to the downside. Okay, I'm not sure whether we're going to get an SFP from this low, legends, because it has confluence with the 786, but it is considered a rare corrective structure target. The most common is the 1-to-1, the 1.236, most common. The most common level here is this one. Okay, and then an extended corrective target is the 1.618 at $89,554. And I mean, that's going to be absolutely brutal, okay? And that means that we are going to come and claim, oh, look at that 1.618. The 1.618 over here is basically a swing failure from this low, okay? And then we have some strong support here at the bottom. Okay, we have some really, I need to zoom into the 4-hour time frame to show everyone. Okay, let's clean it up a little bit. Okay, let's take, yeah, before I take all the levels and things out, but I can take this one out, okay. This area that I have highlighted and I've spoken about many times in my live stream, the $88,000 area, we have a weekly point of control, we have a daily level, and we have this consolidation area over here that could potentially provide strong support, okay? Also, if I clean up the levels ever so slightly, just clean up the kitchen over here, there's another scenario that I have been talking about for very long. Just want to see if I can find it. There we go. Right, let's zoom out a little bit over here and look at this trend. Just want to make sure that I get it there correctly. Okay, so this zone that I've been talking about, if we do continue to the downside, right, we also have the 0.382. We have the weekly point of control, we have the daily level, and we have diagonal support. We have not tapped this trend just as yet. And we have also not tapped the 0.382 just as yet. So if things get really nasty here to the downside, right, this is a very good zone. Okay, and it's basically a swing failure pattern from the low over there. Right, legends, what do you think? Right, where's your heads at? Are you guys bearish? Are you guys bullish? Do you think that the bad news is going to continue here to the downside? I just want to highlight, and this is why I keep on talking about the $88,000 area. It is very common, legends, okay, once you've made a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, now this 1, 2 still needs to play out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it is very uncommon for the fourth wave of this structure not to tap at least a minimum FIB requirement. So if things do get really nasty here to the downside, this is the zone. Because I remember Mr. Crypto Big Brains, I'm not sure if he's here in the live stream, but when you take a FIB, okay, let me take this one out the way, but when you take a FIB, normal FIB retracement from this low to the high, to that high. So focus on this structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and now look at this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. It tapped the 0.382 to perfection. Okay, and it bounced on the trend. And we got the fifth wave to the upside. So now again, now I move my FIB down to this low because now I'm looking at this structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hope that makes sense, legends. Smash up the like for the education over here. And remember, guys, my favorite exchange that I do most of my day trading is weeks where you still get to up to $100 for free by linking your email and your password, and also 50% discount on your trading fees. Okay. And they do have that random selection now between $10 and $100 that you can sign up for, okay? But again, this deal is not going to last forever. So if you want free money to trade with, maybe you want to practice your trading strategy, go and take advantage of this deal to get the free money. If you don't like weeks for whatever reason, I've also got Bluffin over here where you only need an email and a password to sign up. The more you trade, the more money gets airdropped into your account, right? Diversify your risk. I mean, you know... You need to diversify your risk depending on how large your portfolio is. Right, cool, legends. Now, I hope what I've said over here so far makes sense. Okay. Alts will go to zero if that happens. Who knows? Maybe dominance drops and it protects the alts so they don't bleed as much. I don't know, right? Because I know during this dump over here, that dump, nothing happened to the altcoins. I was shocked. I woke up in the morning, I saw the dump to the downside, and the first thing I did is I opened up my altcoin portfolio and I was like, what happened? Nothing. Nothing happened to the altcoins with that dump because dominance collapsed to the downside and it protected the altcoins. Yes, they went down, but not as aggressively as I thought they would go down. So maybe history repeats itself and it says, voila, and it gets that bounce to the upside. And that just presents another great buying opportunity. Dominance drops and it protects the altcoins. We don't know what's going to happen in the market. So if there is that fear element that says, well, if this had to happen, altcoins will go to zero. Maybe not. Maybe it's just going to buy a beautiful, or it's going to present a great buying opportunity. Right. Or they're not going to bleed as hard because dominance is going to protect it. I don't know what's going to happen in the Legends futures. We can just speculate at the end of the day. Right, so Legends, let's get back here onto the 15-minute or the 1-hour time frame and look at the structure. So remember the 0.382, okay? This 0.382, maybe I just didn't snap it on properly now. It needs to go over there. Right, there we go. At $88,000, 108 is definitely a possibility. If this is building up an A, B, C here to the downside, okay, it could also be forming a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here to the downside in a 5-wave structure. Because there's another scenario, a bearish, and I'm just talking bearish now, Legends. I'm just talking bearish. We can get to the bullish case scenarios in a moment, right? There's another scenario that I've been talking about, and let me see if I can find it over here. I have so many scenarios. Right, it's this one. Let me zoom in and show everyone. What do I mean by this one? Okay. where we have formed that initial impulse here to the upside, and we have formed a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we have completed the A, B, C to the upside and got the rejection, where we all played the short on Friday. This could be building up a 5-wave structure to the downside. This is going to be a 3-wave corrective structure, and you continue the impulses to the downside. So now I want to see, well, based on this scenario, where can the third wave go to? Because if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, I want to now see, well, how deep can we go, okay, if the scenario is going to play out? Because I do have enough information on this scenario to go and calculate, well, where could we end up at? So I take my trend-based fib from the high to the low, not that low because that's a corrective low, to the high. Okay, now I get a little bit different targets over here. So, I mean, this is now the most bearish case scenario that I see over here. It doesn't carry high probability like the scenario that I've just shared, but what if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Then you're looking at $81,000. This is the most bearish case scenario that I do see, where we could still continue the bull market to the upside. Okay. And you want to see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave structure to the downside. But you still get that bounce there at the $86,000 area, just below the 0.382. You get the bounce to the upside. It's weak. It creates another 3-wave structure to the downside, and it continues, and it makes one more low at the 50% Fibonacci at $81,000, 352. But it's still a bullish bounce. Ironically, it's still a bullish bounce, because if I go here onto the 4-hour time frame and I highlight that scenario that I've just discussed again, okay, this scenario, if I highlight that again, and we go look at the target, take this out, okay, this is the scenario that I've just spoken about, where we get the bounce on the trend 0.382 at $88,000. If this is forming a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the downside, the 50% Fibonacci is also a 4th wave target. The 0.618 at $74,000 invalidates a 4th wave. So you could still get a bounce in this zone, and you could still get the bull market to continue here to the upside. I have to state that this scenario carries lower probability than the first scenario where we get the bounce over here. This scenario carries higher probability from a technical perspective. This scenario, although it can play out, carries lower probability, but it is still a valid 4th wave, where you could still expect a 5th wave to the upside to claim the high at $109,000. So I just want to highlight all the bearish case scenarios, because the world is bearish. Bybit got hacked. You know, everyone's like, oh crap, now the bull market is really over. We're going into a bear market. And I'm just here to tell everyone that even if we get an aggressive fall here to the downside, we still have insane support to the downside that still validates a 4th wave for a bounce to go and complete another final 5th wave to the upside that claims the high. Right, but yeah, this scenario at $81,000 does carry lower probability. Okay, cool. So, legends, those are the bearish case scenarios. Make sure that you smash up the like here on a Sunday, lazy Sunday update. Okay, here from myself. Let's switch off these scenarios and let's talk a little bit bullish. Okay, what if? Now we have to be, well, what if we do continue here to the upside? Okay, maybe before we go into the bullish case scenarios, let's go through a little bit of comments over here. Okay. Right. Alts are frozen in time. Yes, I mean, the alts are not doing much. I can see dominance it looks like dominance wants to drop, okay, but it's just, you know, consolidating sideways. From a weekly perspective, okay, I must say that this looks really good from a bearish perspective. This looks good. That little weekly wick that dominance left behind could potentially be the high for dominance. It could potentially, because that is, I mean, if I had to see this weekly week on any chart, I would have told everyone, okay, there's a chance that you can go and fill 50% of that week. Okay, that plays out very often. Where price comes back, it fills 50% of the week, and then it tumbles down, right? That is a bearish sign when I look at the chart here on the weekly time frame. So that could mean that the local top or the top for dominance is in. Even if we find upwards momentum, that will be a zone that I will be paying attention to say that, well, if it does move up, there's still a higher chance for dominance to break down than to go back up and claim the high because of this bearish wick that it left behind on the weekly time frame. And you have to remember, the higher the time frame, the more accurate the analysis becomes. And we left a weekly wick behind, okay, which is quite bearish. Okay, so we want bearish because obviously if dominance falls, the altcoins will start getting a little bit life back into them. Account frozen in weeks for nothing. I'm not sure. You could always go and raise a support ticket. We also have a week support section inside of our Legends community. Dewald, any thought about BTC never having more than 4 weekly consecutive red candles in the bull market? Yes, I have heard about people that trade candles. I'm not a big fan of it because I've never used it successfully as part of my trading strategy. So it's not really something that I pay attention to. But I do know that there are people that heavily look into monthly closes, weekly closes. They count the candles. Even I think there's a theory about daily candles as well. When you get 9 or 8 daily candles in the green, then the probabilities increase for a reversal. I think Elliott wave theory, in my opinion, is way more accurate than just counting candles. Okay. I bought Phantom, Sonic, last drop. Think you should sell, right? BTC retrace prop. Okay. Right. I don't know. We can go and analyze this. Legends, I don't know if I'm going to get time to do any altcoin requests today because it's a short stream over here. Okay, on a Sunday, and maybe tomorrow we can jump through many altcoin requests. Okay, so thank you for the live stream on a Sunday. Absolute pleasure. Feel free to express your feelings there. Right, about weeks here, there's a week support in the Discord. Yes. Okay, Morgan, I wondered the same. They were trying to sell a strategy to Andy last week, but still here getting strategies. Right. Okay, cool. Legends, let's get back here onto the technical analysis and talk a little bit bullish over here. Okay, I must say, it is hard for me, okay, to just say that this is going to be the low and we are going to find upwards momentum and continue the bull market because of how not shallow, how short in time the low is. It's a very short in time low. And I also, okay, I really want to count this as a W, because if I can count this as a W and this as an X, okay, and this is forming a triangle in a Y, where we're going to get the bull flag. It's the end of the correction that just breaks out, because you do get corrective structures that continue in time. It doesn't necessarily have to create a new low. But this low over here is the end of the corrective structure, which you want to see from a timing perspective. But I cannot count this as a W. That's the problem, because a W is not allowed to be a 5-wave structure. And when I zoom into the smaller time frames, it looks awfully 5-wave. It looks very aggressive. You know, here on the 5-minute, 10-minute time frame, this looks very 5-wavy. Like, you know, 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. It's just, it looks very 5-wavy. And if it smells like a 5-wave structure, it looks like a 5-wave structure, regardless of how you count it, it's most likely a 5-wave structure. 5-wave structures are very aggressive and they have lots of volume. Okay. So I cannot count this as a W, right? So from a bullish case perspective, the only bullish case that I see here at the moment is that what if, okay, this is still an A, it's an A wave, which is allowed to be a 5-wave structure. This is still part of a B wave, and from a bullish case perspective, this damn B wave, like I've explained during the beginning of the stream, has the potential to go and claim the high. It's allowed to do that in a 3-wave structure, and it can go and reject as far as $101,000. So the bullish case scenario is we can still move up, but I'm still looking for a rejection. Okay, 786, like I've just highlighted by the daily level, and the top of the range over here at 101. I think it's very unlikely for price to just continue and never come back down. Yes, the market is here to surprise us, but I would be very surprised as a technical trader to say that, well, wow, from a timing perspective, it is the shortest correction that I have seen ever on Bitcoin, and it just continues. You want the correction to last longer. Ideally, you want to at least make another low, or you want to build a WXY in a triangle to extend the corrective structure and then break out, but I'm struggling to count this as a W. A W has to be a zigzag structure, 3-wave structure, a lightning bolt. That's not a lightning bolt. Okay, so, but legends, now we have our trading plans to the bottom, and like I've said, okay, we also have our trading plans to the top, right, to looking for shorts. 786 together with the, where's my daily levels? Daily levels, weekly levels, let's put them all on point of controls, okay. This is the zone where I will be looking for a short. Let me put my boxy in there. Let's go. This is the zone where we could potentially fall down. And the highest probable zone is this zone over here or this daily level over there, right, for potential short. So yes, I still see the probabilities of moving up. Okay, and maybe there's a nice little trend. Let me see if there's a nice little trend there on the horizon. Let me zoom into that structure. Let's take a trend from the high. Right. I want to see that trend broken successfully. If price moves up here and it breaks the trend successfully, it starts closing some high time frame candles above. There's some local bullish CVD supporting the momentum to the upside. I'm going to say, okay, we have a chance to at least come and claim the high and tap the 50%, because now you're starting to hit resistance. So if you play along over here, or you've entered the swing failure pattern, beautiful swing failure pattern from that pivot, okay, that was the long to get into, because swing failure patterns gives you the best risk management. If you play the breakout, you have to use less capital. Okay, that is definitely a profit-taking area. Right, although you could move higher, this is what I preach here on the channel. You know, you want to scrape your profits off the market. You want to take profits when you're long. You want to take profits when you hit resistance. When you're short, you want to take profits when you hit support, because you never know where price is going to turn around. Right, legends, that's basically what I'm seeing here on the price of Bitcoin. It's I do expect some volatility to kick in when the markets open a little bit later. Okay, I mean, this was the Saturday price action. We did move up, okay, but this you guys can see this was the weekend price action. Okay, very boring, very choppy, very lazy. We did go up, but you know, we made this nice little circle. Not an easy range to trade. This was not easy to trade. The easiest level to have traded over here was the swing failure pattern that happened a little bit earlier on, about 2 hours earlier on. Okay, 0.618 when you take a FIB retracement from the low to the high, and you swing failure from this little pivot. That was the long, and that position should already be protected. You also came to backtest that level. So if I zoom in here onto the 5-minute time frame, let's even go 1-minute time frame, because I want to now see if this is a bullish bounce. So if I take a FIB like I did Friday, okay, with that rejection to the upside, that was a beautiful 786 bounce. Okay, so that is a bullish bounce, and momentum can potentially still continue here to the upside because of that bounce. If we tap the 0.88, any movement away is potentially corrective, and you're going to come and take the low again inside of the structure. So for now, if you did enter the swing failure pattern, or you got in at the retest like we did on Friday, the short to the downside, right? Your position should now be protected. And when you start, hitting highs, well, meaning this is the 1 minute time frame. Okay, let's go back onto the 15 minute. If you start hitting resistance to the upside, you need to start paying yourself. So let's see. Obvious resistance for me. Yeah, I mean, obvious resistance here is the underbelly resistance. Okay, you're most probably going to come to the trend. And now that's the question. That is a profit-taking area, but it could also be where it breaks out. So it's either going to reject. It's either going to reject. That's why you have to take profits, or it's successfully going to break out. Okay, and start closing some high time frame candles above, and then you can leave some of this position open, okay, after you've taken profits, to not have that FOMO to get back into the trade, because you still have a protected position. Beautiful, right? And then your next profit taking area is the high. Right, cool, legends. Remember to smash up the like if you'd like to come and trade with me. Weeks down in the description where you can still get up to $100 for free, and 50% discount on your trading fees. Cool. Let's go through some comments. Like the Creek theory, still on belief it was you, Dewald, shared it. I like the Creek theory still for now. I believe it was you, Dewald, that shared it. The Creek, I think that is the distribution or the accumulation schematic. And I'm not sure. I think that was presented by Andy. Okay, I know Andy loves accumulation and distribution schematics. So I think the Creek you see inside of the accumulation schematic. So this could potentially still be part of the Creek. I agree with Andy, where we are inside of a distribution of a accumulation schematic. And let me just clean up the kitchen ever so slightly. Okay, let's take all the levels. This is the beauty about having your folders here on the side, legends, is that you don't have to have a messy chart all the time, all of the time, right? So if I look at this entire structure here, let's go to the 4 hour. Okay, this is the Creek. Okay, I don't know all the levels and stuff. I need to go and put it in, but this looks like the Creek here to the downside. And if this is the Creek forming here to the downside from an accumulation perspective, usually what you get is the spring point below this low, which also aligns with the technical analysis where we could potentially get the bounce at $88,000. So if this is the Creek forming here to the downside, that is your spring point over there. And then, you go back into claiming the high. Right, so it also aligns the accumulation schematic with a Creek forming to the downside. The spring point also aligns with my technical analysis from an Elliott wave perspective. So, yes. Phantom, okay, I only sell half when I do. I don't, anybody myself, I would never want to leave a position completely. You never know what will happen. Yes, and I mean, it's all part of your trading strategy. If you're, if you're a trader that likes to take 50% profits when you start hitting support or resistance, and then you leave 50% of the position open, I think what's important is as long as you backtested that strategy. So if you reverse the price action and your strategy is D-line breakout strategy, or your strategy is swing failure pattern strategy, and you take 50% every time and you leave some of the position open, you still need to know where your TP2 is, and you still need to know where your TP3 is. Okay, so as long as you know where your TP areas are and you backtest it and it positively contributes to your trading strategy, well done. I mean, I just don't see a lot of people actually doing the work from a backtesting perspective. Although I'm being reminded of the Bart Simpson picture. It was Andy. Yes, it was Andy. It was Andy, I remember. Yes, I think Andy likes to talk about the distribution and the accumulation strategies. Right, legends. That is basically the. Can I take a look at look on altcoins? Let's go and look at. I will go take a look at a couple of altcoins, legends. So I know that Phantom was on the list. Let's go look at Phantom. Let me open up this tab. Well, let me use this tab. FTM, USDT. Let's go look at Phantom. I do have a Phantom. Is it this one? Let's go. Legends, I just want to see. I do have another Phantom here. Okay, that we have already done technical analysis. Just want to see if I can quickly find it, because the search feature is just giving me new ones. Mr. FTM, where can you like to be? Right, let's try this again. FTM. Is it this one? Nope, it keeps on bringing me the old one. Right, legends. Anyways, let's go look at Phantom here on a fresh chart. I did do technical analysis. For some reason, it is not bringing it up. Ooh, 1 2 1 2. That low cannot be taken. So let's see. I want to take a fib here from this low. Okay. Not good. Okay, so I'm looking at a potential scenario of what if this is forming a 1-2-1-2 and it's going to rip in a third wave here to the upside. It has tapped the 0.88, which increases probabilities of taking the low, which means that this could be an A, B, C corrective structure, and then it continues momentum to the upside. So now I've basically shared with you the bullish and the bearish case scenario. The only hardcore rule in Elliott wave theory is that if this is a 1-2-1-2, which is actually very bullish for Phantom, it's not allowed to claim this low. Okay, because then you can get an explosive third wave over here because you now have momentum behind it. I do like that this 1-2 is smaller than this 1-2, which, you know, aligns with Elliott wave theory beautifully. I don't like that it's tapped the 0.88, but it's not an invalidation. Okay, it is rare for a 1-2 to tap this 0.88, but it's not an invalidation. The only hardcore rule in Elliott wave theory states that wave 2 is even allowed to trace up to 99% of wave 1, and then it can still create a third wave. But from a probabilities perspective, because we have tapped the 0.88, you do increase the probabilities of taking that low. Then, okay, so bullish case scenario is that Phantom could potentially come back down and claim the low, right? A bearish case scenario, okay? And bullish case scenario is it is now building its third wave here to the upside. It's going to start ripping here to the upside and claim the highs, okay? So also, I want to take a fib from this low to the high, and if this is forming an A, B, and this is forming now a C wave here to the downside, right, I will consider a swing failure pattern from the low. That would be the best entry, right, because you claimed the 0.88 from that pivot to that pivot. Right, but now where Phantom is at the moment, I'm not interested. Okay, you should have played the breakout of the trend. If I go here onto the 4-hour time frame, I mean, it had a beautiful trend that you should have played the breakout from. And for those of you that don't think D-line strategies work, I mean, there you have it, right? It played out to perfection. You have multiple high time frame candle closes outside of the trend. So if this is forming a double 1-2 to the upside and it's now busy with a 1-2, 1-2, and it's just building up 1-2s and it's going to start rock and rolling here to the upside, this is where you should have gotten in. This is a no trade zone for me. It's just not where I do not FOMO into trades, legends. Okay, and Phantom is not one of those tokens that I like to day trade, right? So you should have gotten in over here. And if you did not get in over here, now you have to wait for a retracement. So you want to take a fib from this pivot to the high, and maybe if Phantom comes back down into this support zone, 0.618, this could potentially be a load up zone. But where it is now, not interested. If it comes down here and it looks like it's slowing down and it's finding support inside of this zone, right, then I'll be interested again, because now your risk management is also better. Also, if you come down further, you tap the 0.88, you increase the probability of claiming the low, you're most probably going down lower. Right, so that is the quick and dirty technical analysis here on Phantom. I did actually on Phantom, I think, was it Phantom or Filecoin? It's Filecoin. Well, I did a deep dive into Elliott wave theory, but I think that was Filecoin. Okay, and remember, Phantom and Filecoin can be traded on weeks. Link down in the description. Okay, great content as always, Dewald. Do you mind checking ADA? Let's go and check ADA. ADA, USDT. I don't mind checking ADA because I do have a spot bag of ADA. So let's first go to regular. Okay, I've done some scribble on here. Let me just clean up the chart. I've done the time fibs over here. Let me see where we are. Let's go to the daily. Ooh. Okay, I see what I did over here. Okay, so let me clean it up. I mean, this is a beautiful 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 long corrective structure. I mean, guys, this is such a beautiful example of when you have an impulse to the upside. Look at how long this corrective structure was. When I take a time fib from the low to the high, okay, look at where ADA made the low. It made the low between the 382 and the 0.618. Beautiful, but it made the low after the 382. Beautiful. Okay, that's what you want to see. And then it started turning around over here and it started changing market structure, making higher highs, higher lows. And I spoke about it. I spoke about ADA over there. I remember I did live streams for ADA over there and I said, pay attention. I think it's turning around. And poof, it just left the station. Okay. Now the question is, what can ADA do at the moment? So from a simplicity perspective, I have my trend over here, my trusty old trend, okay? And if ADA is going to find some upwards momentum, I want to see some high time frame candle closes above, and we could potentially, you know, rock and roll here to the upside. It does look like ADA is forming a 1-1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and it has quite a bullish bounce here at the moment. It's one of the stronger looking altcoins out there at the moment, okay? Because when I take a fib from the low to the high, you can see that it has tapped the 786 to perfection. 786, where which is the other coin that I just analyzed, not Filecoin. FTM tapped the 0.88, which is a bearish sign. This is a bullish sign. So even if ADA can still consolidate in here, it breaks the trend, okay, it still consolidates and it starts moving up, right? That's going to be very bearish, bullish. As long as it can keep on going sideways without claiming the low, that's going to look really good for ADA. From a timing perspective, you now need to look at time again, okay? So you have to take your time fib from this pivot to the high and see, okay, great. This low was made to after the 0.382 and between the 0.618, exactly where that low was made, exactly in the same zone. Very beautiful, very beautiful. Okay, now I want to zoom into the smaller time frames and see, well, there's potentially a breakout that can be played before the real breakout happens. Let's see. Ooh, it's already consolidating outside of the trend. So I'm not sure, you know, if ADA has any chance, okay, of moving to higher levels, okay? It's broken the first trend, it's consolidating. This low should be protected for bullish continuation, where you want it to go sideways. And I mean, ideally, you want to claim that high, right? To start changing market structure. You want ADA to start, you want to claim that high, make a higher high, higher low, find support. Okay, it's climbing the ladder to the upside. And then potentially the breakout over there. Right, but this for me is a good zone to DCA from a spot perspective, not a leverage perspective. The stop loss is too far. You're going to liquidate your position potentially, right? And it's all about risk management here on the channel. But it looks good. I like the bounce. I really like this bounce. It's a good bounce in a good zone, right? 786 between 0.382 and 618 from a timing perspective. And, you know, as long as it goes sideways without claiming these lows, that's going to look great for ADA over here. It's not really, I mean, you could have your resistance box over here, Okay, from a RS and a support perspective, if it breaks above and it comes back for a retest, that's where you're long with your stop loss below the low. If you miss the trade, and then could potentially punch here to the upside. Right, cool, legends. That is quick and dirty technical analysis here on ADA. Right. Can you check an AI agent like Virtuals, please? Unfortunately, Bruno, thank you so much for the request, but I have run out of time. Much appreciated. Absolute pleasure. I know that you guys do still have lots of altcoin requests, but I just wanted to do a quick and powerful live stream here on a Sunday, just explaining what I see on the price of Bitcoin. And right, legends, hope you have a beautiful weekend further. Remember to smash up the like on your way out. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. I will see you guys in the next one. Cheers for now.